2023 Toyota 4Runner. Is this the best reliable SUV that you can buy? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. If you're looking to buy a practical, capable, and highly reliable SUV, then you've probably considered the Toyota 4Runner. Despite being on the market for what seems like an eternity without any major changes, it remains a very popular and strong selling SUV. And for this video, I'm going to try to explain why that's the case, and why the 4Runner might just be one of the very last ultra-reliable SUVs that you can buy on the market. So before you go off and buy that high-tech modern crossover SUV from another brand, make sure to stick around until the end of this video. And if you enjoy and get value out of this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post 2 videos a week, always straight to the point, valuable car buying advice designed to help you, the consumer. So for those who don't know, the 4Runner is Toyota's version of the Toyota Prado sold in other markets, which we still get in North America as the Lexus GX460, all of which share the exact same platform. There are a number of reasons why the 4Runner is known for being such a reliable SUV, and to understand it, you have to understand Toyota's philosophy as a whole. Compared to most other car companies, which are constantly changing their cars every few years and introducing all kinds of brand new technology and new drivetrains, Toyota does the exact opposite. This is a company that really doesn't like to reinvent the wheel. They stick with what they know and what's proven to work reliably for a long time. And this is part of the reason why the 4Runner refuses to change with modern times. It uses time-tested, well-proven components that have been around for ages, and that's part of why the 4Runner is such a reliable vehicle. Take the 4Runner's drivetrain as a great example of this. It uses a naturally aspirated 4-liter V6 engine, producing around 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque. It also comes matched to a 5-speed automatic transmission with either a part-time or full-time 4-wheel drive system. Toyota has not changed this drivetrain for over a decade, and it can actually trace its roots back to the early 2000s. All they've really done is refined it and tweaked it to work out all the kinks, so it's pretty much bulletproof at this point. Now there's no question, with only around 270 horsepower, the 4Runner is not a fast SUV, and that's especially true when you load it up with passengers and a lot of cargo. But that being said, it is enough to get the job done, and the 4Runner does come with a very good towing capacity of up to 5,000 pounds, and this is a great SUV for doing towing with its body-on-frame construction too. The part of this equation that really gives away the 4Runner's age is the ancient 5-speed automatic transmission. It's hard to believe that you can still get a brand new SUV with a 5-speed in 2023, let alone one this expensive. But just like the engine, this is a pretty bulletproof transmission that's known to last for ages with just basic maintenance, so why exactly would you go and change it? Probably the one thing that ages this engine and transmission more than anything else is the fuel economy, which is really not all that impressive. The 4Runner is only able to achieve around 14 to 19 miles per gallon, or 12 to 16 liters per 100 kilometers, and there's no way around it. That is really not that great for a brand new SUV. I mean, I get that this is an ancient drivetrain that lacks a lot of modern technology like direct injection and turbocharging, but it's really hard to stomach that kind of fuel economy in a new SUV, especially with today's gas prices. But again, this ancient drivetrain is really a main part of the 4Runner's charm, and why it's such a durable, long-lasting SUV. Another part of that amazing durability has to do with the body-on-frame construction. Unlike a crossover SUV like the Toyota Highlander, the 4Runner is a proper body-on-frame SUV, which makes it a lot more durable and rugged for off-road use. All of the 4Runner's components, from the frame to the suspension, are extremely heavy-duty, built to handle a lot of off-road abuse, which is what the 4Runner is really made for. Now, if you really want a fully off-road capable 4Runner, you're most likely going to want to go with either the TRD off-road package or the top-trim TRD Pro. These versions come with a selectable full-time 4-wheel drive system, with a 2-speed transfer case and a low range for off-road use. You also get other desirable off-road features like crawl control, a multi-terrain management system, and a locking rear differential. The TRD Pro also adds Fox suspension, a higher ride height, and a TRD skid plate, but you don't necessarily need to go for the more expensive TRD Pro if you want to get the full off-road experience. The regular TRD off-road package is really more than sufficient. But really, any variant of the 4Runner is built to handle off-road use. Even the more street-oriented TRD Sport version with the part-time 4-wheel drive like I'm test driving here. Now there's no question, if you were expecting the 4Runner to feel more like a car-based crossover SUV like the Highlander, you are going to be in for some disappointment. Being a body-on-frame SUV means it feels a lot more truck-like to drive. It has a more jiggly ride and a little bit more road noise than you might be used to from a regular crossover SUV. But honestly, this is still perfectly comfortable to drive, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. And of course, it has that really high ride height that gives you a great commanding view of the road too. It might not necessarily be as comfortable as a car-based crossover SUV, but this is still a great driving SUV, and it honestly feels quite special too. I really get why so many people are so attached to these things and why they remain so incredibly popular. And that brings us to the 4Runner's interior. Now, I'll start with some of the good things. What I really like about this interior is that everything is extremely straightforward and easy to use. You have nice large buttons and knobs, and it really doesn't take a long time to figure out how everything in here works. And not only is this a very straightforward, easy to use interior, but it realistically gives you everything that you need. All the basic features and technology that you would expect to find is there. For example, we have an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and even a surround view backup camera. We have some active safety technology like blind spot detection with rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, and emergency braking. And if you go for one of the higher trims like the limited trim, you get a lot of other really nice comforts too. Honestly, the 4Runner realistically gives you everything that you need. But there's no question, when you compare it to a lot of other modern SUVs, there is a lot of advanced technology that is missing with the 4Runner. For example, we don't have any advanced highway driving assist features. There's very limited connectivity options with only a simple USB-A port up front. And you're also missing some other features like a power tailgate in the back, a panoramic sunroof. I mean, in that respect, this is a pretty basic SUV. But again, I don't think the lack of a lot of modern technology is going to be a big deal for a lot of 4Runner buyers. They prefer the simplicity that you get with this SUV because adding a lot of that advanced technology just means more things that are going to break later on. It's the simplicity that really gives this SUV a lot of its main appeal, and loading it up with a lot of fancy technology is just going to take away from the experience. And it's not as though this is some kind of impractical SUV. This is actually a very spacious vehicle. You have a ton of room in both the front seats and the rear seats, and you have a huge cargo area too. And if you go for the limited trim, you can even get the 4Runner in a 7-seater configuration, which is great to see. As a whole, this is a very practical SUV, more or less on par with the similar size Highlander. But even though the 4Runner is a little bit on the basic side when it comes to features and technology, there's certainly nothing basic about the pricing. The 4Runner is priced from around $40,000 to $55,000 US, or around $53,000 to $68,000 Canadian. And while of course that is quite a bit of money, I think there's no question that it is worth it, especially when you consider the 4Runner's amazing capability, especially off-road, its reputation for reliability, and its extremely strong resale value too. 4Runners really don't depreciate much over time. They're known to hold their value extremely well, and in fact buying a brand new one is quite challenging. They have very long waiting periods, or you might be faced with a very large dealer markup way over MSRP. Which brings us to the 4Runner's popularity. Despite the fact that this is a very old SUV, it really hasn't had any significant changes in over a decade now. The 4Runner has only been getting more and more popular with time. In fact, 2021 was the 4Runner's best sales year in its entire history, followed very closely by 2018 and 2019. So, despite the fact that this is an old SUV, it's only been selling better as time goes on. Which just goes to show you that the exact reason why buyers are in love with the 4Runner is because of its old school nature. Buyers just love the fact that you're getting this simple, rugged, durable old SUV that's built to last forever, and I can really understand that desirability. I mean, I really can't think of another brand new SUV that you can buy in the market that can realistically last for 500,000 miles without having major repairs. But the 4Runner certainly can, and that's pretty amazing. Now, if you like the idea of that amazing Toyota reliability and high resale value, but you don't necessarily need to have something that's quite as capable as the 4Runner in terms of towing capability and off-road ability, then you might be better off buying something like the Highlander instead. But even though the Highlander realistically makes a lot more sense for a lot more buyers, it just doesn't give you the same special character that you get with the 4Runner. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that can really ruin the 4Runner is Toyota itself. We're quickly approaching the time when the 4Runner is going to need a complete redesign, likely sometime in 2024, and hopefully Toyota doesn't conform to modern technology too much and keeps the 4Runner what it's always been. Time will tell what the 4Runner's future will bring, but in the meantime, if you want to have that old school formula, you better act quickly while you still can. So let me know what you think of the 2023 Toyota 4Runner. Would you still consider buying one of these in 2023? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also take a look at my other car videos by clicking these links over here. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to check out carhelpcanada.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.